Hi there, and welcome to Motivational Moments Live with me, Belinda Bwedu, your host. If you are joining me for the very first time, you are so very warmly welcome. And if you are one of my regulars who is always here to learn and glean and vibe together with me, I am so grateful to have you here once again. As usual, before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about Motivational Moments Live and what we're all about. It's part of Impart and Impact, which is a business, career, and educational consultancy. And Motivational Moments Live is about bringing you all the great inspiration and motivation you need to achieve your very best. So without further ado, we're going to get straight in. As you know, we kick-started a couple of weeks ago with our series in business. And that first series, we talked all about what it takes to really get started in business. And today, we're going to talk about that next step, how to develop, how to grow your business. And I'm going to just give you as much nuggets as I possibly can. If you have any questions, by all means, feel free to ask in the comment section and I will try my very best to address it. But also go ahead and share, with all your friends, with all your loved ones, so they can join in and have a bit of a listen as well. So today, we're talking about business growth and development. First of all, what is business growth? What is business development? It's what the name essentially says. It's about being able to grow your business, being able to move it from that kind of starting point, coasting level, to elevating it to that next level where you're really kind of gaining momentum and you're able to get going. It's also about attracting the right prospects, being able to develop commercial relationships, and then by all means being able to close sales, convert people from being mere passerbys, or bystanders, to people who actually patronize and engage and bring you money, which is ultimately, what you're trying to achieve in your business. So what does it take to develop your business? What does it take to grow your business? I think one very important element that everyone has to understand when you start your business, and this is sort of following on from the things that we discussed in our first episode, you want to make sure that you've done all those things, have a great market research, a basis from which you've started your business, put in place your business plan, have a strategy that you're going to kind of grow from and keep developing from. Those are the base points that we're starting from. If you haven't had the opportunity to watch that episode, I would strongly encourage you to go back and watch that first episode so you have a grounding from where we're going to take off from today, right? So what you really want to do is you want to understand and put in place a really good marketing plan. That's a really important plan or important aspect of being able to grow and develop your business. A lot of people kind of rely on the fact that, they've launched a really good business, they've got really great products, so hopefully, people will come in and buy. But you can't expect that. Like, there are probably a number of people within that space doing what you do who have great products, who may even have better products. So if you're going to come in and undercut the market, and if you're going to come in and be able to gain the retention of the people who are already purchasing, or of the people who are already using that service, and get them on board, get them buying into your brand, you have to do some work. and resting on your laurels is not going to help you achieve that. So you have to have in place a really good marketing plan. If you haven't got the know-how of how to develop a robust marketing plan, I would strongly suggest that you seek in professional advice, business developers, business planners, consultants. They can more or less help you with some of these things, but you have to have a pretty solid understanding of what that really means. Why do you need a marketing plan? So a marketing plan is basically what takes your product to your market, how they begin to engage with your product, how they begin to engage with your brand, how they begin to engage with your business. It's planning all of that, and that could be through so many different mediums and means. Traditionally, you can have things like advertising in a newspaper. If you've got lots of money to dash at it, you can go to do TV advertisement. Most startups probably don't have that kind of money, but if you do, by all means, why not? You can go through the radio stations, that more traditional form of advertising, and then you can also do things like e-blast, so buying copious amounts of marketing lists where you can then send mass marketing material via email. But what is now more modern, where everyone's getting a bit of a stake in, is obviously the use of social media and the importance of merging your marketing plan within your social media plan, because ultimately it's a very it's free for starters, but of course there are levels. You can pay for more targeted marketing, and that's a really good way of also reaching your target audience. But it's important to ensure that you have a plan. Have a plan, understand how it works, so you're able to measure whether your plan is bringing in the results you need. A lot of people make an interesting assumption, which is that if my social media numbers are high, so for example, if a lot of people are liking my page, it equals that people are going to buy my product or buy into my service. But that's literally like step one of a lot of steps that need to be taken. So are you converting these people who are liking your page into people who are engaging with your content on your page? And then are you ultimately then able to convert them into people who are engaging with your content, into people who are buying into your products and your services? So you might have 1,000 people who are following your page. You might then only have 400 people who are engaging with the content on your page. And then when you really dwindle down, you might only have 10 people who are buying your products or buying into your services. So it's like a funnel effect. What goes in at the top doesn't equal how much money you're making at the bottom of the funnel. So how you feed into the funnel and how much the quality of the people who are coming in at the top is going to ultimately decide how that trickles down and how many people are ultimately going to bring you money. Right? This is wider. Of course, it doesn't just cover your social media. It covers all forms of your marketing plans, all the formats. You have to think big, think wide. How many people can you just get into knowing about you? How much noise can you make? And trust me, when you're new into starting your business, the more noise you're able to make, the more attention you're able to create into your product, into your service, the more likelihood, or the bigger the chances are that one of those people who are hearing you shouting are then going to be able to convert into solid sales, into you making money. But it doesn't happen automatically. You see, you must put in place a plan. That's why now, left, right, and center, you're constantly hearing about people whose professions are content creators, people whose professions are social media page managers, Instagram managers, Facebook managers, and all the other social media outlets out there. And you're thinking, it's a fake job, it doesn't sound real. But that's because that's how much effort that is required and has to go into you putting in to get out even one sale, right? So think of it that way. To get one sale, there's a whole chain of events, a sequence of events that has to take place before you're able to make that one sale. And if your product is something, that isn't high level bringing in income, think about how many of those sales you need to make to potentially even come into profit. So that's why people have to focus that attention on multiple ways of growing their business. So you can't just say, because I got one of the first things that people do is they're going to open a shop. I'm going to open a hair salon, or I'm going to open a shop, because once I open a shop, or once I have an office, let me put it that way as well, once I have an office, then it shows people that I've made it and I'm really doing well in this profession I've chosen, or in this career I've chosen. Darling, that couldn't be further from the truth. Once you open a shop, once you open an office, it simply means more overheads. It simply means more cost. And if you don't have the return, if you don't have the money coming in to cover those costs, you are running at a loss. It is as simple as that. There's no two ways about it. So don't automatically go to that space where it's like, okay, if I'm to be taken serious, I must have an office. If I'm to be taken serious, I must open a shop. All those things are very good things, very valuable things, but only do it if it makes sense in the sequence of your business plan and your business strategy. Don't do it because it looks good. Don't do it because your friend did it. Don't do it because it makes you look more impressive, because ultimately you are going to be the one suffering as a consequence of taking that type of action. So first things first, if your product, if your service, if your product, your service, your brand hasn't taken off and isn't somewhat bringing you an income, don't be skipping ahead of yourself to step 10, because you're only harming yourself. Yes, your office looks amazing. Yes, you have the state of the art, this and that, but are you making money? Are you bringing in an income? Or don't get me wrong, is having an office, is having a shop, is having a storefront going to be a primary thing to bringing you an income? Sometimes that's absolutely the way forward. That's absolutely the way you must go. But ensure that all of this is thought into your business plan, and it's not just something that you're randomly deciding to do because Joe did it or because Anna did it. You have to understand your own plan and how your actions around it is going to feed into the bottom line, right? So back to where we were talking about, your marketing strategies, your marketing plans. You have to think it through. It can't just be a today, I feel like doing this. It can't be today, okay, I haven't had much engagement on my page, so let me see. Some aspects of what you're doing is definitely going to be trial and error, by all means, especially if you're new and you're starting off. I can perfectly understand that. But everything you do must be intentional. You must do it with thought. You must do it with your bottom line in mind. When I'm taking this action, when I'm making this post, what is the ultimate outcome that I'm looking for? Having people just press like a lot and that not converting into anything else doesn't mean anything. Sometimes people need those likes and what have you to grow, right? People talk about growing their social media page, and sometimes people talking about growing their social media page and there's no underlining anything about it. It's a bit crazy, because obviously those people are just fame seekers, and if that's what you're into, then that's absolutely fine. But we are here today talking about building your business, developing your business, and growing your business. So if that's the place where you are situated, then you have to think about your social media pages, yourself as a brand that you are marketing, that is going to bring you results that are beyond likes. The day we can convert a like into hardcore cash, then by all means, brag your heart out about likes. For some people, that is absolutely the case. If you're a brand influencer and the whole point of you posting content is to gain interaction with your content by people liking them, by people commenting on them, because someone else, another business is paying you for that, then knock your socks off. Go for it and aim to gain the most likes you can ever possibly achieve. But for most business owners, what the bottom line is going to be about is making money. And people, from where I sit, people are unlikely just going to throw money at you for gaining engagement on your page. That has nothing to do with them. So ensure that everything you're doing is bringing you the results that you need, that funnel effect I spoke about in the beginning, where lots of people are coming in to see, oh, who's this? What's going on here? What's happening? And then they engage with you, right? You're gonna lose, people are gonna look and they're just gonna keep flicking through and move on. Some people are gonna engage with you. So the quality of what you're putting out there determines how well people engage with you. So some people absolutely are going to ask questions. They're gonna say, oh, this looks really cool. Some people are gonna ask, how much does it cost, right? And I'm learning so strongly, especially, say for example, in Africa, if you are selling something on Instagram, for example, and you post beautiful pictures of your products and people come and ask you how much, and you then refer them elsewhere without them understanding why, trust me, you lose them. Okay, you lose them, because people want quickly, I like this product, it's going to cost 50 Ghana cedis, can I afford it? Yes, no, then I take the next step. But if they're having to go through 5 other steps before they're able to get what they are looking for, that's simply going to walk away and go to somewhere where it's much easier for them to do so. So in your business, think about, why are you asking people to maybe inbox you? Why are you asking people to message you? Because one of the first things that runs through my mind is, if you're asking me to DM you, it doesn't mean that you're going to assess for example, my pictures or my images to decide whether I can afford 20 Ghana cedis or whether I can afford 50 Ghana cedis. Because if it's the same for all of us, surely you can just put the price out so I know whether I want to buy the product or not. I mean, that's the logic that runs through my mind. So I'm only assuming that it's very possible that that's the logic that's running through other people's mind. Some people will tell you, I don't share my prices because I have other stock that I want to engage people on. Well, if they're interested in other stock, they will ask you. But then there's another side of it, and this is from a consumer perspective, right? Where people don't put out their prices. For example, I have products that I sell across various different markets, and by markets I mean countries. So it doesn't make sense for me to put down the price, because the price in Ghana is not going to be the price in the UK, is not going to be the price in USA. So for those reasons, I personally wouldn't put my pricing down on a social media page, but I can equally make it very easy for you to gain access to the information without asking you to take 10 other steps that takes you out of what you were doing in able to engage with you. Because more than likely people stumble onto your pages, stumble onto your content by chance. They didn't deliberately go out there to find you. So if I've stumbled upon your lovely pair of shoes and I'm asking how much, I've taken my precious time out to ask you how much do they cost, and you now tell me to DM me to my WhatsApp number, which I now need to A, find a pen to write down, B, make the effort to open my WhatsApp, save your number before I can now send you a message and ask you how much. It's way too much work for the average consumer. So either put out the prices, make it very clear, or make it very clear what they need to do, as in, you know, where they can go to find the information that they're looking for. That's not going to take them out of their comfortable zone or take them off track from what they're trying to do. Because in those 5 seconds, usually a lot less, in 2 to 3 to 5 seconds that I'm scrolling through your page, I'm making a decision about whether those shoes are worth me buying or not, right? And you quoting that your shoes are 150 versus you quoting that your shoes are 500 is very quickly going to show you your clientele. Otherwise, you yourself are having a lot of your time wasted by people who are coming into your DM, coming into your WhatsApp, asking you a bunch of questions that didn't need to be asked, because someone who can afford a 500 pair of shoes can afford a 500 pair of shoes. They'll contact you, they'll tell you, can I have it in this size? Game over. But more than likely, you have people coming into your DM, coming into your WhatsApp, who can only afford a pair of shoes for 50 that are now wasting your time. So absolutely, your time management in your business growth, business development is equally critical. Do you have the time to engage in all of this yourself, or do you need to perhaps hire people to help you with that? And don't go hiring people from the very onset when it's not apparent whether it's necessary or not, because then again, it's going to be a waste of time, a waste of money. For any small business starter, I will always advise you to have a dibble and a dabble in every aspect of your business, so you have a thorough understanding of how it all works. No one can come and bamboozle you and tell you stories, because you will know that, okay, when I started off, of course things change, things develop, but you will have an understanding of how things work, and then you know what you need. But if from the onset immediately you're, oh, I need this, I'm hiring this, just because perhaps you had an investor that has invested into your business and there's access to some money, doesn't mean that that money has to be wasted. Okay, be smart about your projections. We spoke about that in our first episode. You know, think about your financial plan, all of those things, and everything you're doing needs to somehow come back to your business plan, needs to fit into the business plan, so that you know whether you are on target or whether you're missing the mark. Okay? Fantastic. Are we all on board? I can see, I'll go back and see the questions that I've missed, but you know, let me know if you're agreeing with me or if you think I'm wrong. Put it down in the comment section and let's just be interactive. Okay, so ultimately what you're trying to do when you're developing your business is, like I said, all the things you're putting into it is resulting in business growth. People assume that the only way that shows evidence of business growth is if you're hiring more and more staff. Absolutely, it's true. If you're hiring staff, it's indicative that your business is doing great and that you need more hands on board to develop it, to grow it, to pay more attention to your clientele, etc., etc. But only if that is the reason why you're hiring staff. Similarly, a lot of people go out there, just like I gave the example of renting office space or renting a shop space just because it looks a certain way, so it makes them feel prestigious and it makes them look like someone who really owns and runs a business. So if I say, oh, I have 10 members of staff, it makes me look really great, versus if I say I'm a one-man band. If it takes you being a one-man band to establish your business, to grow it, to take it to where it needs to be, then be a one-man band. If it means you continue to run a home office, work from home, you know, work from the tiny little space in your kitchen, then that's what you need to do. You don't owe it to anyone, right, to show off or to prove yourself. Ultimately, if you quietly keep doing what you're doing, your success is all you need to show whoever you're trying to show. And success will always speak for itself, because there is only so long you can keep up a facade, right? There's only so long you can keep up a facade before it begins to crumble, because keeping up a facade is never built on solid foundation. So at some point it's going to crumble, it's going to fall apart, and everyone's just going to see right through you and see, you know, the fakeness for what it is. So take your time. Don't go from I have launched my business, you know, I've launched my product, to instantly trying to, you know, get it to the next level. Some of these things take time. There are lessons that need to be learned. There are things that you can only achieve by taking your time to do so. You need to develop relationships, you understand. There are stakeholders that are going to come in that are going to help you grow your business, but they can only do so if you can establish trust with them. And that's another super important aspect of business growth. You need to be able to establish trust with all your stakeholders and with your customers' clientele. If the people do not trust in your service, do not trust in your brand, it's a surefire way to already nullify it before it ever got the chance to take off, right? So if you are selling products, we'll stick with the shoes since we already started it. So if I go on your Instagram page and great, I've bought my pair of shoes, and within a couple of days my pair of shoes are peeling, they're falling apart and whatnot, the first thing I'm going to do is share that with my contact list, right? That's the first thing I'm going to do, because no one wants to be scammed out of their money. No one. So whether I paid 50 for them or whether I paid 500 for them, I always want to have value for money, right? And that's the first thing I'm going to do. Tell someone that, oh, you know, so and so shop, don't buy anything from there. The moment you buy from them, the things are gonna fall apart. You know, it's not even gonna last you a week and it's gonna start peeling. And that's a surefire way of people already tarnishing and spoiling your business. So why not rather take your time and provide a quality service or provide a quality product? Because the same way I'm gonna talk trash about something that wasn't a good quality is the same way I'm going to speak highly of something that is of high quality, right? The next time someone's looking for a pair of shoes to buy, what am I going to do? Straight away, I'm going to refer them to your company, your business, because look, when I bought my pair of shoes, they arrived on time, they were a reasonable cost, your customer service was absolutely stellar, and you know, I can't wait to buy my next pair of shoes from you, because dealing with you was an absolute pleasure. Or dealing with your team was an absolute pleasure. So you must understand that there are so many different cogs in the wheel to make it turn. You can't be focused on just that one thing, thinking that, oh, well, I sell really nice pairs of shoes, they're nice, you know, so that's what's going to do it for me. That niceness might attract people, but everything else you do to make my experience with you a pleasurable one is going to determine whether I'm going to bring more customers to your door front and whether I myself am going to return or not. So please, please, please bear these things in mind. Don't just assume that, you know, oh, I've started my business, so I'm okay, you know, I'm a business owner. Just the pride you have in saying I'm a business owner makes it enough. What differentiates you between being an excellent business owner, one that is able to develop and grow their business, from one who launched a business that just continues to stay super stagnant, no development, no growth, no increase in sales, nothing. Everything just stays the same, right? Because if that was the theory we were going by, you know, big clothing stores, for example, should just stick to selling the same thing all the time. But no, every season the styles change, right? They have different seasons, they go through different processes, then there is sales, they clear that stock, then they launch something else just to keep me interested, because once I've bought it, I've bought it. So just to make sure that I keep coming through the doors again, what are you providing that's going to keep me interested? Okay, so bear all of these in mind. Now, how can you go about expanding your marketing potential, as I call it, making lots of noise. We spoke earlier about traditional formats, having a website. Nowadays, it's not always critical for everyone to have a website, but some businesses, it is important to have a website. Also, often having a website legitimizes your business. So it's difficult to constantly go around saying, oh, I do this, I provide that, if you have no digital footprint. If people look for you and they can't find anything on you, that honestly not gonna really come through your doors. Some things don't need it. Some kind of businesses really in this day and age don't really need it. But I would say to you that if you're providing a particular type of services especially, having a website is going to go a long way for you to be able to gain a wider clientele. Have you considered things like blogging, vlogging, to generate content, generate an interest? Because sometimes people follow your stories or follow your journey, and then it resonates with them. So if you have a product that's attached to that journey, it makes it easier for people to buy into, because they will say, I'm quite similar to Belinda. If I, for example, if I'm busy blogging and vlogging about living a family life, and I have a particular course or a particular product that helps parents, by all means, by blogging and vlogging about my family life, you would have these parents buying into that product because my life resonates with their life. So that's another example. Then you have more traditional things again, like attending trade shows, trade events, going to various events. And also very, very important is being able to pitch, right? Being able to present to stakeholders, because for some businesses you may be a B2B, so that means business to business. Your business is providing something to a bigger business or another business. So being able to have access to other business owners is critical for your business to do well, to grow and establish itself. So if you don't know how to pitch, if you don't know how to present, if you don't know how to sell to these people who are going to be a lot less forgiving than your average consumer, then already you are somewhat screwed, if I can put it that way. And sometimes it's not you that has to go out there and do these pitches. You can perfectly have someone in your team that is good at that is good at presenting, that is good at explaining, that is good at articulating themselves, that does that particular business development or relationship management role for you, right? So it's very important, especially if you're a B2B or especially if you're seeking out investors, being able to know how to access these types of business owners or managers or, it's going to be critical. And there's a lot of work that goes into that. You don't just wake up one day and say, oh, let me walk into someone's office. You're going to have a lot of... I've forgotten the word they use for it, but a lot of people who are, it will come to me, a lot of people who are stopping you from accessing their top managers. You can't just walk into an office and say, let me speak to your CEO, and expect that the secretary or the receptionist is going to go, oh yeah, sure, go in. Gate stoppers, there's a word for it. It will come to me. So if you know it, put it in the comments, because this is going to be niggling at me until I find it. Something like gate stoppers, door stoppers, something like that. But anyway, so there's a whole process that must go into you gaining the trust of these individuals. So cold calling may be an element of you building your relationships, which means you might have a team that is calling hundreds of business owners each and every day, and then it dwindles down to, okay, this person has arranged a meeting, then it dwindles down to, yes, we went to that meeting, and then it dwindles down to, we were able to close on a sale. So there's a number of steps and processes that must be taken in that particular line of action to ensure that you gain access and you are able to sell to these other business business owners. If it's a consumer, so by a consumer I mean your end, the person you're ultimately hoping for your product to end with. So that could be the buyer, your average shopper, your average person that wants to get their hair done, then it's again a different cycle that you need to take, and most of it is to do with how well you grab their attention. How well are you able to stand out from a crowd of people who are offering the very same thing? And you have, in this day and age, you have to be innovative. I was talking about this very recently in a discussion where it's like people, especially, sorry to say, in Africa, are lacking innovation. It's like we just get stuck, thinking that because we've launched, it's enough, but it's not enough. You have to be innovative. And the thing is, you don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheels. There are so many opportunities for you to glean and learn what other businesses are doing, perhaps in other parts of the world. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will directly translate to your part of the world, but at least it begins to open up your eyes, open up your mind, and helps you think, okay, I don't necessarily just have to take this approach. For example, it's very common in Ghanaian settings, I will say, for you to go into a restaurant, sit there and eat your food. But in this day and age, it's far more common for you to order your food, right? So as a restaurant, if I'm on, and restaurants, if you are here and you have opened a restaurant, I am literally begging you, take note of this. If you are a restaurant and you offer a delivery service and you expect me to come and patronize your food and have it delivered to me, for goodness sake, have somewhere where I can easily access your menu. Please, it makes sense, because how else am I going to know what I want to order from you if I need to go searching through your whole social media page before catching anything that remotely looks like a menu? Yes, you're posting lots of pictures of food, but if you don't tell me what your food is, what it's called, which number it is on the menu, how do you expect me to make an order? And this is a genuine frustration of mine, because if I spend a minute, and that's me being generous with my time, on your social media page because I heard of you, and I'm looking for your menu and I can't find it, rest assured that I'm moving on. That's potentially 100 Ghana cedis that you could have made that you didn't make. And that means that there are maybe another 50 people who were willing to bring that service to you that they didn't bring because we couldn't find your menu. And then the second thing is, have people over the phone who are going to be professional in their manner when dealing with you. If I'm calling you and I'm asking, I didn't find a menu, so I'm calling you to ask, okay, what do you have? And the person over the phone doesn't know whether they're coming or going. Again, you've lost my business. So guys, quality of service, we'll do a whole session on customer service, right? We're gonna do a whole, I'm so passionate about that, so I'm not going to take today's time delving on that, but I had to give it a mention, because just in case that's the area you specialize in your business, make sure that you're not making these mistakes. Don't assume that every restaurant or every consumer knows what you are offering. Sometimes we stumble across you, we think your food looks great, we want to make an order, but there is literally no way of us doing so because you have not provided us with the information we need to be able to do so, okay? So very, very important, and that can apply to anyone. Like I don't think it only applies to the food business. Perhaps as a business you've got your products on your page, but there is no telephone number, or there is no website, or whatever it is that we can have to contact you to make our purchases. There is nothing there. So when we spend a couple of and literally it is seconds, no one has minutes to be given on social media, because there is going to be something else that really quickly catches our eyes. So if think about, go through your page, have a list of questions from a consumer point of view, and if they can't be answered for that consumer within seconds, know that they are moving on, because that should be the point of your social media page, right? It should be attracting us in. It should be turning us from mere observers into people who are bringing hard cash into your pockets. So if you're missing that mark, if you're selling a product and you're missing that mark of sharing with us your menu or sharing with us your contact details, that's us not coming back to seek you out again. And there are not many second chances when it comes to marketing. You don't really get a second chance. When you miss it, you miss it. You know, the footfall that went through your doors, they're not going to come back when you miss the brief with them. So these are some of the things that you have to get right from the very onset. So please, guys, you know, for all of you who have social media pages attached to your business, do yourself a big favor. You know, take a couple of hours today. Don't leave it, because already with every passing minute, you're potentially missing customers, you're potentially missing clients. So take the time to go through it. Ask some critical questions. Can they easily contact me? Can they easily find my menu? Can I give out my prices? Is there a reason I'm not giving out my prices? If I can, let me share that with them. With clothing items, can I tell them what sizes are available? Simple things. If I'm a size 10, and I love your item, but you already know that there are no size 10s available, it's a waste of both our times for me to come and contact you and you to respond to me to let me know that there are no size 10s. So you let us know, only size 12, 14, 16 available. Simples. Make life easy for you, make life easy for your customers and your clientele. Okay, I think I went a little bit off the track there with my rant, but absolutely, guys, focus on selling in order to build your business. In order to expand and grow your business, you must absolutely focus on selling. And focusing on selling doesn't mean that, you know, you're going to do a hard sell on everyone, but it means that all your actions, all the actions you take, have in the background humming that ultimately whatever's happening here needs to convert into a sale, right? Whatever's happening here needs to convert into a sale. Voila. And sometimes to grow and develop your business is also about identifying new markets that you can take your business to. So you might be doing very, very well with your product, your brand, your service in a particular space, but expanding and growing your business to fit into another space requires you going out there, doing more market research, perhaps asking more questions, you know, conducting things like surveys, finding ways of getting into the thinking of people, so you know, I'm trying to think of a great example, but for example, you provide wigs for people who just want to look good, right? So that's your market. And then you suddenly realize that there is a whole market of people who need wigs because they have medical conditions, right? Maybe they suffer from things like alopecia or what have you. So therefore now your market space is no longer just, I have a salon, people can come in and buy my wigs, but now I can also go to specialist hospitals do B2B with them, business to business, for them to buy my wigs to help people who suffer from medical conditions, who don't want necessarily the whole world to know that they suffer from a medical condition. I don't know if that's the perfect example, but I hope that helps you understand exactly what I mean. So whatever market you tapped into from the beginning doesn't necessarily have to be the market you stick with. So I really just want to nicely wrap it up. The point of your business development, the point of business growth, is to really put together a robust plan that has in mind, your marketing strategy of how you're going to make sales, how you're really going to scale up your business, for the perspective that if someone wishes to invest, for the perspective that if someone wants to perhaps have a buy-in, that you can clearly show in what format that you are looking to grow and develop your business. I also definitely want to reiterate and remind you that there is so much that goes into growing your business, growing your brand, and getting your product out there. And essentially, as the saying goes, if you do not plan, if you don't, what's the saying? It's completely gone now, but I think you know the one I mean. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So essentially, that's what you really have to do. You need to put in place a robust plan. Put pen to paper where you're lacking, where you fall short. Don't be afraid to get some insight from those who do have a thorough professional understanding of how it works, how to put together a marketing plan, how to plan how to grow your business. All of those things are vitally essential. It isn't enough to just pump your time and energy into your product. It isn't enough to just plan and pay attention to the aesthetics of things, but really everything you do, all your thinking needs to boil down to sales. How am I making my money? So summarizing, and then we're going to wrap it up, just to close it all off for you nicely. Business growth, business development is understanding that there are so many steps that need to be taken for you to essentially make a sale, from you to go from launching your business, doing well, and growing that business, growing your footfall when it comes to your clientele, your customers, the people that are going to put money in your pockets. There are certain steps that need to be taken. You need to have a marketing plan in place, a strategy in place. Think about whether traditional options or more modern options are going to be viable for you. Do not pump money into unnecessary aspects that are not going to bring you the results that you are after. We spoke about not going for an office or not going for a shop if that isn't an essential part of that business. Try if you are a one-man band and it means working from home, working from your kitchen, doing your very best with just those resources, then do it without feeling guilty or without feeling like you are behind. We also spoke about the fact that you don't necessarily need a whole fleet of staff. Everything has its time, everything has its place. If it's not time for you to get certain staff, then don't do it just for the sake of saying you've got 20, 30, 50 people working under you, because ultimately all the staff that you have results in overhead, results in cost. So if that cost does not pay for itself and then adds on a profit to you, don't go there. So have all of this as part of your planning, as part of your strategy for scaling your business to the next level, understanding, what it takes, both the nitty-gritty details from, what a client expects from you, as well as thinking about how the different cogs fit into the wheel to make it churn is going to be a critical component to ensuring that you have successful business growth. Okay. I'm so sorry once again that we just kind of lost each other halfway through. I hope this summarizes it for you nicely. For those of you that might have missed the session, don't worry, I'll be posting it out for you all to enjoy very soon. But I can't wrap up without, as usual, sharing that if you are a woman, if you are a lady, you definitely want to be following Atana Women. Atana Women is a network of women that are all to do with ensuring that we give you the very best of information, knowledge to help you on your womanhood journey. If you're an Atana mom, you already know what it means. Unfortunately, becoming an Atana mom is only through referral. So find out from your network who's an Atana mom and get them to get you on board. We don't leave the men behind either. We are very soon launching our Atana Men, so you want to be following on our social media pages Atana Men or Atana Men's Hub, and make sure you join us from the onset, because it's got to get to a point where, you know, we close it all off and the opportunity is no longer going to be there. And of course, if you are into your fashions, your accessories, I would encourage you to follow Bella's Blessing, our Afrocentric, beautiful fashion and styling arm that ensures you get everything you need to look your fabulous self. And yeah, last but not least, I want to ensure that if you are into your food, which everyone has to be, for goodness sake, we must survive by eating. And of course, you don't want to be eating the same old boring stuff all the time. So if you're looking for some food inspiration, follow Belinda Boadu Cooking. And without much mention, I'm hoping that you're certainly following Impart and Impact, where we can help you with all your consulting needs, from business to education to career consulting. If you need some insights, just give us a call or hit us up and we'll be more than happy to assist. So yeah, that's it for today. Really, I'll have this posted out really soon, and I'll try my best to join the two pieces together so it's a nice solid flow. I'm so grateful you took the time out to join me either earlier or during this part 2. Do follow us, do share, especially the YouTube page. You want to look for Belinda Boadu or for Motivational Moments Live, and please give us a follow and share it with those who you think it might help. You might not have anything in particular to do with business right now, but I'm sure you have some friends, some family that can do with the insight. And of course, the business is just a limited series. We'll soon be addressing other topics as well, but hopefully next time I come on, I'll be delving in great detail into customer service, and boy do I have you know, so much to share about customer service and how to hit it on the head. So ensure that you are following the YouTube page, that you're following Impart and Impact, so you don't miss out on that. So grateful once again. I wish you have an absolutely amazing weekend. Stay safe, guys. You know, still hearing on a daily basis how this horrible disease is taking precious people away from us. So please stay safe, mask up, wash your hands, don't go anywhere you don't need to be. Until then, I'll leave it there. Have a great day. Ciao.